Zoom. There we go. Okay. Hi guys, welcome to everyone that can hear me. I hope you guys are doing well. Just trying to give some time to let people join because I know for some of you Zoom is new. I do ask that you stay muted. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them in the chat. We have a couple peer advisors, Karina and Grecia, are going to help answer any questions you guys might have. And then at the end, I hope that we'll be able to discuss them if we have time as well. I have my video on to show you I am a human. I'm a person. I'm at home. I am probably going to shut it off though, because I am not dressed for work. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes and then I'll go ahead and get started. I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay. I can't see anyone, so I assume that you're there. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Nice. You're alive. Oh, and there's my husband. Bye. Next, it'll be my son and my dog coming through. So that's why I'm going to shut my video off. Oh, thank you. I love Invader Zim. All right, I think we've got a good amount of people, so I'm going to go ahead and switch. Let's see, how do I only use this every day and I'm still having trouble? There we go. We'll get there. We'll get there. There we go. Okay, so now I can't really see the chat anymore or any of you guys. So definitely ask questions in the chat and Karina and Grecia will help you out. And like I said, any questions you might have, I plan to have some time at the end to go over everything. Okay. So the reason, of course, I started this presentation was because it was originally for my online only students that we have for psychology majors. And then of course, when we all moved to online due to COVID-19, I wanted to make sure that we were all kind of following some helpful tips so that you can still be successful with this new change, this new format that you have for your courses. Just to kind of help you be a more successful student. This presentation is definitely going to be a little informal. I've gathered the information for this presentation based on my 10 years of working in the Psychology Advising Center, based on myself being an online student and a face-to-face student, things that were helpful for me for sure. So I just wanted to share this information with you all so that hopefully it can help you too. And I would appreciate additional tips. So if you have any tips that you want to add to the chat, we can discuss that at the end and share those tips as well. Okay, so that's me. My name's Erin. I'm an academic advisor. Like I said, in the Advising Center, I've been working in the Advising Center for 10 years. It's been a long time, but it's been great. Let's go ahead and get started, I guess. If you need to leave at any time and come back, we'll let you back in. And this is also going to be recorded so we can share it on our website as well as social media. So a big tip about being an online student for me is understanding that this is your degree. You're in charge. Something that our director Karen has said that's been helpful is to think of your degree as self-care. You're doing this for yourself, to better yourself. And so with you in charge, think of this as, you know, something that's not really an obstacle. I mean, we're all dealing with obstacles at the moment, but this is something that it's bigger than that. So I like to understand, what is human agency? Human agency is the capacity for human beings to make choices and to impose those choices on the world. So like your choice to better yourself and go to higher ed is huge. I also liked this quote that I found online: believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. And like I said, we're dealing with a lot of obstacles right now, being an online only student, and everything else that we're dealing with at the same time. It's a lot, but I believe you can handle it. So one big question I get, especially as an academic advisor, is how many credits should I be taking each semester? Typically, our full-time students take 12 credits. Sometimes they'll take 15. If you are working full-time though, you'll probably want to swap that and do more like 6 credits or 3 or 9, depending on how much you can juggle with the work that you do. The way to keep in mind is every credit hour that you are enrolled in, you should dedicate 3 hours of work towards it, whether it's doing your homework, studying for it, reading articles that's relevant. So for a 3 credit hour class, a typical class, that's 9 hours a week for that class. So that's why a full-time student is going to be dedicating about 36 hours a week, which is like a full-time job of 40 hours a week. So if you're already working 40 hours a week and then you're doing school for 36 hours a week so that you're successful and earning A's as much as possible, not just skating by, that's too much in a work week. In a week, you need to eat and sleep, take care of yourself. Some of us have other people or animals or responsibilities that we take care of as well. So I think that's really big to keep that in mind. Yes, some people are able to work full-time and maybe do school full-time, but are they doing great in their classes? Who's to say? It's, from my advisor standpoint, not typically. I don't usually see students being a successful A student and working that much as well. So I hope that you're good about balancing your school and your life schedule. Something that's helpful is time and space management. Keep track of your due dates. Everything is online these days and digital, and you're so stuck to your computer. So maybe a planner is going to be helpful. A physical planner is going to be helpful for you to write down your due dates and assignments to help you keep track of everything that you need to do that week, that day even. I recommend having a set time that you know that you're going to work on your courses. Because now most of your courses are going to be virtual, they're online. You might not have a Tuesday, Thursday Zoom session that your class is attending. So you might need to kind of do something like that on your own. Set a time. Say your class, with your deadlines of everything's due Friday, say you have a Tuesday, Thursday, 3 to 4:30 that you're going to work on that class. So that way you turn everything in before that Friday. So think of actually setting a time in which you're going to work on it, that you're not going to have any distractions, you're not going to be doing anything else, to help keep you dedicated towards completing your assignments or studying or reading, basically those 3 hours per credit hour. And something else you'll need is space. So you can see my space is used by my husband, so that doesn't really help so much, but at least he's pretty quiet. Having a quiet and distraction-free area is very important, especially when you're doing any of your quizzes and exams that are timed. In my presentation previously for this, I would say, if you can't find a space at home, go to Starbucks, go to the library, but obviously we can't do that these days. So now it's even more important to find that quiet space and let the people that you live with know, okay, I need to be quiet for like just an hour or however long your assignment is going to be, or maybe it's for that 3 hours that you need to work on reading and homework and assignments. So that's definitely going to be very helpful for you to be successful as doing your courses online. For me, I feel like Murphy's Law always happens. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So I highly recommend that you plan ahead. For your assignments, if you're having questions on them, definitely message your teaching assistants and your professors, but you're gonna wanna message them before the deadline, before a couple days before the deadline of that assignment being due. Professors, like advisors, like all of you guys, we're really busy, and professors do check their emails constantly, but they still have a lot to get through before they can get to yours a lot of times. So it might take a couple days for them to respond. So give them a couple days to respond to you. That's why teaching assistants are usually pretty helpful, because they can typically respond a little faster. And if it's something that they can't help you with, that they can get a hold of their professor faster than you could. So definitely reach out to your teaching assistants first as much as you can before your professor. You can try the web courses email, messaging them through that. You can try that. That's typically, I find, the fastest way to get a hold of a professor, because it also links to their course. But they also have a UCF email, so definitely try that as well if it's been a couple days and they're still not responding. And to get to their email, it's on the psych department website, so you can find any professor's emails on there. And then, like I said, everything always breaks for me. I don't know. Technology issues are huge. So I would recommend contacting the service desk as soon as something's starting to break on you. If you're having trouble getting into your night's email, or something's going on with web courses. And if you can, save and log everything. Take screenshots as much as you can. If you don't know how to do screenshot, you could take a picture with your phone. I recommend looking it up for your computer, whether you have a PC or an Apple or whatever. Try and find out how to do a screenshot and save that screenshot so that you can have pictures of proof of, like, yes, the professor, I did turn in the assignment before it was due. See, here's my screenshot that I turned it in. And that way, if for some reason it disappears, the professor can't find it, it crashed or the server's down, they'll have that information that you did turn it in on time. So if you can, try and save and log everything. It's going to be helpful. Oh, here's my tip for if you want a professor to respond to you quickly, look into having some email etiquette. I know that when I'm messaging my friends online, I don't focus on my grammar so much and I abbreviate words, sure, but this isn't your friends, this is your professor or your advisor that you're messaging. So try and have some professionalism to it, because that'll definitely have them respond to you faster, in my opinion. Have a meaningful title, header, that's concise, something that wraps up the message quickly. Try not to have it just be your name. We can already see your name in the message. Start with a nice professional greeting. If you don't know if they have their doctorate or not, Google it. It's very important that if they do have their doctorate, that you call them doctor. It's very professional. My big pet peeve is I don't like when people call me Mrs., even though I am a Mrs. If you don't know they're married, don't call them Mrs. Just the Miss is fine, or of course if it's male, Mr. or instructor or professor works as well. So that's kind of important for me. And then have a nice little closing, sincerely, best wishes or regards, and then your name. I typically use take care or thanks. Something that really helps me as an advisor is if you have information about yourself in your email signature. Plus, this is a great way to show yourself off. So in your professional email signature, have your name, of course. You can have your ID and NID, because as an advisor, I need your ID to find you, whereas sometimes professors need your NID to add you to courses or other things. You can add your title. You're all BS candidates, psychology BS majors at UCF. And then if you have any other titles, if you're a teaching assistant, a research assistant, you are a guardian advocate, or you volunteer at a school or an intern somewhere, you can have those titles in your emails added to your signature. It looks really nice. And I think showing that professionalism of having a title helps an advisor professor want to respond to you faster, especially because it's like, oh, this person obviously knows what they're doing. So I highly recommend that you work on that email signature and include it. So in your Ninth's email, you can set up your signature so that it's there every time you send an email. And so that's something that's always helped me when students do that, because then I can find them and respond to them quickly. I don't have to search them for their ID number. So I definitely recommend the signature. I pretty much, if you get an email from Psych Advising from me, I pretty much recommend that you set one up. I always send that back to students for the most part. This is kind of what we touched on before of building your agency. This is your degree. No one's getting it but you. You're working really hard for it. Even if you're not exactly the one paying for it, this is yours. I hope that you'll keep working hard for it and putting in that effort. Sometimes you'll hear things for the "you can't finish." I know that's a common phrase that I've heard as an advisor, but for me, you can finish. Our success rates for college graduates at UCF are 6 years. I mean, that's not the ideal. No, we're 5 years. That's not the ideal 4 years, which most students want. But 5 years isn't so bad. My twin sister finished in 5 years. My husband finished in 8 years. And I finished in 3. So we don't talk about me because I know I'm different. I know that you can finish. I know that you can do this. I know that you're putting so much effort and work into your degree. I hope that you'll also put an effort towards those grades as well as your relationships with professors. I know that's a lot harder with online classes. So reaching out to them when you have questions, talking to them about the coursework that they've posted, asking good questions, asking for more recommendations of relevant articles. That's always helpful. And I hope that you're also gaining relevant experience. And that's a whole nother video I have about going towards internship and volunteering. So I hope that you'll join our webinar for that one. Something that's really going to help you be successful is finding a mentor, someone that can guide you. A mentor is typically someone that's in the field. So a professional that's in that career, or maybe it's a professor that used to be in that career. And that way you have someone that you can reach out to at any time in your career to see if they can help guide you towards those goals that you have. So that was the main presentation that I wanted to share. I appreciate you guys being here and listening. It was very fast. I kind of did that on purpose because I wanted to have time to read through the chat and see if there's anything else that we wanted to discuss. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, okay. There's a lot. But I see Karina and Gracie, I've been helping. If you, I don't think I forced you guys on mute. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and I'll answer it. I don't see any questions, but I appreciate Jenny and Crystal for sharing their stories with us. That really helps us understand what it's like to be a student that's working as well. Oh, great question, Kelsey. So Kelsey asked, how can we find a mentor? And I meant to talk about it, so I'm sorry I didn't. So I'm glad that you asked. So finding a mentor can be as easy as talking to a professor or academic advisor, depending on who they are in their career. Especially for like psychology professors, a lot of them were psychologists or are psychologists like practicing, so you can always reach out to them. Our psychology professors are doing a lot of research, so if you want to do research yourself, I think that's a great start, is to go talk to them about their research and how you can get involved with them. But the number one way that I found that you can find a mentor is Googling. Well, okay, number one way is probably asking around. Ask your family, friends, do they know of somebody in that career that might be able to guide you and point you in that direction? Another way is by Googling your area, just finding who lives nearby that might be able to mentor you, or who's in the UCF area, because the professionals here in the UCF area know that UCF students are here and they're around, and they're going to ask questions. So they already understand that UCF students might approach them for assistance. So that's really great. And the last way to find a mentor is you can connect with UCF alumni on LinkedIn. So if you don't already, I definitely recommend you make a LinkedIn account. But on LinkedIn, you can type in University of Central Florida in the search. And then on the University of Central Florida page on LinkedIn, there is a button for alumni. And in the alumni, you can then search for like psychology alumni or a specific career in that alumni. So I'm trying to see if I can show you. Boop, boop. Hopefully I won't show you a million other things. And so you can search University of Central Florida. I've done the search recently, so it's already there. And then under alumni, click. You can search alumni like psychology alumni. And it's so cool to see psychology alumni, because psychology majors, after they graduate, they go off and do like a million different things. And you can actually reach out to them. So let's see if there's anybody I actually know. Not really, but let's say we click on somebody. Oh, here's one of my peer advisors. She's gonna be mad at me. And so you can actually like reach out and message them on here, or connect to them because you are together being in the UCF. So definitely recommend you do that. Had some other good questions. Anna asks, how do you keep yourself motivated? That's a great question. For me, it was figuring out what's next. So, because I knew that the psych classes I was taking wasn't really relevant to the career I had in mind. Even at the time as a psych major, I thought I wanted to be an advisor, but I still thought of, okay, well, I just need to get through this one next thing to go on to my next career. So that's been helpful for a lot of people, is thinking about what's next. Why are you doing this degree? Why are you taking these classes? Why are you doing this test? And that's what I found is motivational. You might want to get connected with other resources that help with finding motivation. Things like maybe SARC, the Student Academic Resource Center, has like tutoring help. So they have academic success classes that might be helpful. And then even CAPS, talking to a counselor might help find that motivation for you as well. That's a great question, Kimberly. So Kimberly asks, she feels like she has to teach herself, and how does she help herself besides ask the professor or TAs? I would definitely ask your professor or TAs anyways, but yes, you can find some help on your own. YouTube is actually very helpful. I find a lot of topics on YouTube. Just Google search the internet. Use your library. Go into the library, look at articles that are relevant. That's going to be very helpful. I did that more as a grad student than an undergrad, but I think that could help you as well, is look up relevant articles and who wrote those articles and where those articles are coming from. And I think that can help you with kind of giving you additional information besides just what's in the textbook. And a lot of times those textbooks will cite those articles too. So maybe actually finding the actual source could be helpful. Jenny asked how I finished my degree so early. I'm a giant nerd and I did too many classes at once. I didn't work for a year and a half of that. So that really helps that I could just focus on school. But then I have a lot of student loans. So pros and cons. Oh, that's a great advice. Crystal mentioned doing a study group. I have found the GroupMe has actually been pretty helpful with, connecting with classmates. Yeah, Karina says that too. Just be careful on GroupMe not to say anything you wouldn't want your professor to see. That's all. That's all I ask, please. That helped me a lot when I was a student, was having someone to study with. I was always pretty shy though, and so I didn't really ask anybody to study with me. They asked me because they're like, "Oh, you actually go to class? Do you want to study together?" I'm like, "Okay, fine." And I was like, "Oh, this is actually helping me." So yes, having someone to study with, whether it's virtual or socially distanced in person, that might work too. GroupMe is just a chat, just like a messenger that you can share with multiple people. The students taught me about that last year. I'm still pretty new to it myself. Does anybody else have any questions? You want to unmute yourself or add into the chat? Well, this presentation went a lot faster than I thought it would. I guess I talk really fast. I'm sorry. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at Psych Advising. Let me see if I can pull up my PowerPoint again, maybe. This is us. Psych Advising at ucf.edu. Morgan or myself will respond to you as soon as we can, and we'll help you out in any way to help this help you be successful as an online student. Okay, that's our goal too. We want you to be successful just like you do. I appreciate everyone that attended. Thank you for showing up, and yeah, reach out if you need anything else. All right, bye guys. Oops.